Welcome to the Gameweek 33 Q&A episode. The first question this week comes from Vinay, who asks, bring in Kane or wait until Gameweek 34? By the way, he loves Stoke. As you mentioned, Kane does love playing against Stoke. He's scored 8 goals in his last 4 games against them, and it's a fixture that Spurs on the whole tend to enjoy. They've scored 4 or more goals in each of their last 4 meetings. But can we be certain that Kane is fully fit and ready to start? Hopefully, Pochettino will give us an update in his press conference later this week, but as things stand, it could be a bit of a gamble to bring Kane in early. The other concern is Stoke's relatively good defensive form. Yes, they conceded 3 goals to Arsenal last week, but they held them out until the 75th minute and looked really solid and organised for the most part, as they have done since Paul Lambert took charge. FPL Pask asks, who's most essential for double Gameweek 34, Lukaku or Kane? This is a really tough one, and again, we don't really have all of the information we need to be able to fully assess the situation at the moment, because it largely depends on how close to full fitness Kane is. Spurs have a lot of games coming up, with the FA Cup semi-final against Man United taking place just a few days after the double game week. So can we be certain that Kane will get 90 minutes in each of the games? With this one, I guess it depends whether you've used the wildcard already or not. If you have, and you have limited free transfers to get your team ready for double Game Week 37, then Kane may be the way to go, since Spurs fixtures from Game Week 36 onwards are slightly better than Man United's, and he's chasing the Golden Boot. However, looking at double Game Week 34 in isolation, as things stand, I have to say I'm actually leaning towards Lukaku. The fixtures are kinder, and we can be more certain of Lukaku's fitness. But of course, that all could change nearer the time. Roop Kiran asks, Captaincy picks. Is Game Week 33 the perfect opportunity to go for a differential captain pick instead of Salah? It could well be. We know how incredible Salah is, and this is definitely nothing to do with his form, or even Liverpool's form. But the issue is that Game Week 33 falls right in the middle of their Champions League tie with Man City, with each leg taking place either side of the Premier League fixture against Everton. With that in mind, we could potentially see Klopp rotate or give limited minutes to certain key players, depending on the result of the first leg. The key alternative who stands out for me is Arsenal's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, as Arsenal host a Southampton side that have suffered 3-0 defeats in each of their previous 2 league matches. The Ghost of Sparta asks, should I hold on to Arnautovic ahead of their tough fixtures? It's a classic form versus fixtures dilemma, and for me, it depends on your situation with the chips and wildcard in many ways. If you're someone who's already used all the chips, then keeping Arnautovic is probably the best move, because your free transfers are more valuable and will need to be working towards navigating the blank double Game Week 35 and the 2 double game weeks either side. Although the West Ham man doesn't have a double game week in 34, he does have a home fixture against Stoke, his former club, and he then plays in blank Game Week 35 and will be involved in the second double game week. So he looks good for the long run. Inon asks, best midfielder for below 6.5, Sung and Kenedy are already in the team. At that price, I'd be tempted to return to Manchester United's Jesse Lingard. Many of us were frustrated by him earlier on in the season, but he has chipped away with goals and assists. He's directly contributed to 13 goals in 27 appearances. It's the Manchester derby this week, but as mentioned earlier, Man City are likely to have one eye on their Champions League tie with Liverpool. Then there's the 2 double game weeks for Lingard, and in recent weeks it's only been the 2 games against Chelsea and Liverpool that he hasn't started. And the final question for this episode comes from Dan Thompson, who asks, which players could be real strong differentials for the upcoming weeks? Hazard stands out. Well, you mentioned Hazard, with his 6.8% ownership, and in addition to him, Alexis Sanchez is a name who could be a very interesting differential, owned by just 2.9% of managers at present, after his goal and assist against Swansea last weekend. Amongst forwards, Charlie Austin might be someone to keep an eye on, with his 0.6% ownership. He's completed 60 minutes on just 6 occasions this season, but has an impressive 6 goals to his name, and he made his return from injury during the defeat to West Ham last weekend. So that brings this episode to a close, but thanks for sending in your questions as always, and best of luck in Game Week 33.